Alright, okay, we are going to return to this project. Sorry that I have a bandage on my finger, woodworking accident. But anyway, we're going to return to this, so I don't know if it still works or not. I think you plug it in this way. So if you recall, this was a thingy, what's it, to count in binary. Does it work? It does kind of work. What's this wire for? It's not for anything. So we'll take that wire off. So it kind of works. So this is meant to be binary from 1 to 7, or from decimal from 1 to 7. If you press, not all the buttons work. There's always something wrong with this. It's a mess. So this is not the best way of making these things. But some of the buttons still work. So we're only going to make a 3-button version of this. But if you recall where we were beforehand, come back to that one. Just need this thingy. We had built this circuit here, which looks like this one. So activating. I'm afraid the bandage is going to fall. I should have just taken it off. I'm sure it's fine now. But anyway, this is the circuit, roughly the circuit. Power source goes through the resistor, goes into our LED, LED turns on, and that's that. So that's kind of what we have here, resistor, LED. And so the next part, which is hopefully going to lead on to the very last part, but oh, I can't get my little thing off. So if I take this away, there's actually a button under there. So I'm going to put that there. Alright, so this thing here is meant to be a button symbol, and a button is literally, so I'm going to have a variety of buttons to show you. So this is very, very basic stuff. So these are little buttons. These are quite common to get. You can put different tops on them. They look like that. They have 4 legs, but in fact 2 of them are linked together. Well, they're linked together. I'll show you in a minute because we're going to probably use these buttons. We'll have a quick look at these. There's this kind of button which is quite neat. It's a little red one and you press it like that. It's got 2 little contacts. So this is a good one to sort of illustrate. Actually, what's the best one to illustrate with? We'll come back to that one. Here's another kind of button. That's actually a switch. Not the best example. This one here, they sometimes use these in printers, so it makes a nice little clicking sound when you press against things. The button that I used on this thing is a terrible button, a very, very bad button, but the only real reason I used it is I've got thousands of them, and it's these things here. They're meant to go on the front of VCRs, so old video recorders. They sort of go in the front, and then the actual buttons on the front touch these things here and they press them. But they have two little legs, so this is the simplest kind. Basically, when you press the button, it links the circuit up and electricity flows through the 2 legs, and when you let go of the button, there is a open circuit, that's the right word, and the electricity doesn't flow. So the thing is, I always makes me anxious saying open and closed circuits, because when I think open, it sounds like it should be open for business and all electricity is going to flow through, but what they mean is it's open, like the button is up and electricity can't go through. So we're going to use this button just to show a quick example of how it's going to work, and then we'll use this button because these are very common, and then we're going to just quickly jump into, because there's not much to say about buttons. Really, they're just basically holes in circuits. This is not very... Why did I even bother with these buttons? I have all these other better ones and I don't know where I put them all. Maybe we won't do this. The problem is they have very, very fiddly legs. Okay, we won't do that one. This is terrible. We'll do this one. Oh, what have I done? Oh, I've got my legs. I notice that looks bad. Hold on. Oh, right, there we go. Sorry, my leg is pressing against the power thing. I notice that I bumped the camera bumps a lot at the moment. So give me a second. Sorry, it's going to bump a bit more. What have I done today? Worst video ever. Alright, so I'm going to try and not bump the camera. Nothing's in the way, is there? Alright, so sometimes the cap's in the way and it's annoying. Or the strap's in the way, or something's in the way. So these things here, these 2 wires, so it goes this way, this one and this one are actually connected to each other all the time, and the other two on the other side are connected to each other all the time. So you basically get two, so it's called I guess it's a double pole. I don't know what it really is. They have these names. It goes for switches. We could talk about switches too. So this is a switch, and it goes backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. So it is always in one position, unlike a button which when you let go of it, it pops back up. This is a double throw switch because it's got two different options, and neither of them are really off. It's just that, do you connect the middle leg to this side, or do you connect the middle leg to that side? But if you have one like this, so this is a double pole button, I think it is, or a triple pole, I don't know. It's got a lot of connections on one side, so when you press the button in, a whole bunch of different things get connected to each other. Not a very good explanation, doesn't really matter too much at the moment. Look it up on the internet. The important thing is if it's double throw, sorry, or single throw. That's more interesting from my point of view. So anyway, we're going to put this button. This is very rambly. This is going to go in there. I don't know if you can really see it. So people seem to put it, and this is really the only best way to do these kind of buttons on a breadboard, is to put them over the middle bit. But because, so the long way goes over the middle bit, because this wire is connected to this side and that one is connected to that side, you can actually use either side to put your connections in, which is good. Though they take up a lot of space. So if we're going to look here, we have, this is the worst thing to be using as a pen. Hold on. Let's use a screwdriver. It's not a pen, I'm using it as a pointer. So here, this leg is now going, you can't really see it too well, it's going into this connector here on the button, and I'm going to, so I could put the other leg of the resistor into this side, so it's going in here, into the button and out over to here, but I could also put it over here, which is just as good. So we'll put it over there because then we've got a little bit more space. And now all we have to do to make the light come on is press the button. So press the button, light comes on. Press the button, light comes on. Let go, it goes off. If we could put on one of these buttons, so this is a cute little button. This is a, I don't know if this is a double pole, double throw button switch. Hard to tell, but it clicks in. It stays in when you press it down. Is it worth putting it in tonight? I don't know. Maybe it's a better button to use though. I've only got one here on the table though. So what I want to do, alright, so that's the basic part of that. What I'd like to do, because we want to lead up to this thing, but we want to see why we need an extra part in here that we haven't come to yet. So this is going to be my leading into the next video, which is, so tonight we're going to try and make it so that you have two LEDs on here and two buttons, and when you press one button, one LED is going to come on, and when you press the other button, both of the LEDs are going to come on. So it's a very simplified version of this final contraption over here. We may have to use an extra breadboard to make it easy, but hopefully we won't. So we'll just leave that one over there with the, what is it called? A paper clip. I'm going to move this around, so I'm going to copy this. So the tricky part is getting, I've been putting this off because I was just wondering, like, is this going to be a very boring video where I spend half the time just putting bits and pieces in here? So first button is going to go on this side, and then we're going to get this button, we're going to take the little top part off. We'll take out the LEDs for now, and we're going to push that one into there. So we've got two buttons on here. We're going to need a whole bunch of little tiny wires. So we've got a little wire collection here. Just going to, oh, I dropped a whole bunch of stuff on the ground. So, and we need another LED. So we've got a blue one. Where's my little bag? We'll get this red one. So there's a red one, and we're going to need some of these things. So these are I just got these from a very large collection of old electronic items from somebody. These I believe are 100 ohms. I think they are. So I'm going to use those. So what's going to happen, I'm just going to cheat. All right. So I'm going to put that one there, and then the positive leg is just going to go via, this is not going to be very aesthetically pleasing. Actually, I'm going to put it over the other side, so we'll do it this way. So the LED can be there, and then it will be connected. So the long leg of the LED is going via the resistor to the positive rail over here. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to get rid of that one. Running out of room here. That's what I'm worried about. This thing is just not going to have enough space. We'll zoom in a little bit. Well, this might as well, because we haven't zoomed in for a long time. But there's no real reason. We don't need this anymore either. Whether or not that helps it focus, I don't know. So we're going to have, and then we're going to do the same thing over here with the red one. And now all the pieces of paper fall down. How inconvenient. What an annoyance. Alright, and where's my other one of these giant, oversized, but they, because they're old school, they have the thick, satisfying wires, which sometimes is useful, but tonight probably is not that useful because it's just not going in the hole. Right. No, this is not a happy night. This maybe I should have just stuck with the normal size ones. Why does this not go in the hole? Normally they fit fine. They fit fine on the other holes. Well, okay. What about in the other holes? Okay, it's just that particular hole, or that particular line. It is not going well. My enthusiasm for large size resistors is maybe not the smartest thing in the world. Okay, and now we're going to have a few problems. Where did I put those little thin wires? Those little... they would have been the best sort, and they've disappeared. Alright, we'll just have to use these ones. Alright, here we go. I'm going to make them look very ungainly. Actually, I had another set of wires. That's the thing, you gotta really plan ahead with these, and planning ahead just doesn't seem to be my forte. So out we go, out we go, out we go, out we go. Oh, there's too many. Alright, so the first thing is, this button here is going to turn the red one on. So I'm going to cheat and put it there. So you can't quite see, but now there's a line going from the negative rail into here, and then I'm just going to, I need one that's exactly the right size to make it look good. I'm going to fit that kind of across. Please just go in the hole. Alright, is that right? Alright, there we go. Okay, so now we can just test it. It doesn't work. What did I do wrong? I don't actually know that even worked. We may just have to finish it and say, well, this doesn't work. I should have really planned ahead and tested everything. I actually have a pretty cool little oh, that's not even attached to the 5 volts. He says. This is not working out. Alright, we're going to go back to this one for now. Let's just use this resistor, because that at least goes in the holes. And I'm just going to quickly test by going over to here. That would be a bother. Probably. None of these things work. So I think it must be this funny wire here, because I didn't stick it in very well. I don't know that the switch works. So let's actually test. There we go. There we go. Actually, here we go. We're going to make a wire. Where did I put the silly things? A very, very big wire. Okay, we're going to make 2 of these wires. This is my favorite pile of wire. And there, and I'm just going to test that the button isn't faulty. So we can do some... Alright, it's the button that's faulty, so that works. Let's go back to my original giant with a little bit of gunk on the end, so I'm a little bit suspicious about it. So that works, but the button is rubbish, so let's just take that out for a second. It's a bit squashed over there. Put it back in. Okay, now it works. There we go. So it's important to have good connections, kids. And then we've got that one. So that one's the easy one. So I think I moved it out of the way a bit there. You missed all the exciting bits with the giant. So it's very important, if you get into this, to get one of these things, because they're very useful for stripping off the wire. So you put the end in there and you just go like that, and voila, the ends are stripped. You might not even be able to see that at all. So that would be a bit strange. And then we can do the other end. So now we've got 2 bits of wire. So we're going to use those bits of wire for the last bit. So I want this one to turn both the wires on, to turn both things on. So I'm going to connect one end to the negative rail. Alright. It's just too big. I want this to look kind of right. They're not the right colours though. I want another blue one. I want it to look exactly the same as the other one. Normally I wouldn't care less, but strangely when you're doing it as a performance art, you kind of want it to look a bit better. But then that one's blue, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, so now we've got that. It doesn't work yet because it goes in this side of the button and then it comes out the other side, but it's not connected up to this LED yet. So the first thing we want is this LED to come on. So I'm going to put a connecting wire. Hard to see, but I am. Okay, so now I test it, that one works. Alright. So now I've got this, it's going in there. Where's my little screwdriver? Oh, I've lost the screwdriver. This is my life. I'm that kind of person who just cannot keep. So, comes in here, goes through the button, goes into here, then back here to the positive rail. So we're going via the negative. So I probably should have done it. People always think you go from the positive down to negative, but in this case we're going from negative up to here. But I also want the negative to go to the other. I want it to go through this button and into this LED, but I also want this LED to turn on. We're going to split the current up so the light won't be as bright as it could be. Oh, actually it will be. It'll be fine because we're using 2 resistors. So I just want to, I'm going to use this wire. So I'm going to use this giant yellow wire because I don't want to stick it down the bottom. And I'm going to go into here. So remembering I'm using the same little line on the, what's it called? Proto board? Breadboard. And then I'm going to put it into over here where the negative leg is on this LED. So it's going in here, going through the button, and then the one yellow wire is going to the negative leg on this LED, and then going up to the positive over here via this resistor, and it's going along this wire into this negative leg of this LED, and it's going to then go back out through the LED and up through the resistor to the positive rail. So if I press the button, I get both buttons. So the buttons are rubbish, so they flicker a bit. There's no special effects there. If I hold it down, it works fine. And so, voila, it looks like we've done it. We've got one button that does one button light, and then the other button does two lights. But if we press the first one, hopefully this works, oh no, we have a problem, because suddenly now the first button doesn't turn on just one LED, it turns on both as well. They both do the same thing. So you're both kind of stuck. You can hold them both down, nothing bad will happen. But you're kind of stuck in a situation now where it doesn't do what you want it to do. So that's actually where I wanted to finish it tonight. So you may be able to realize why this doesn't work. We are going to go through and draw a picture next time. But this has already taken a while. And then we're going to learn about diodes that don't emit light. And what we might use them for. So the trick of this will become as to why I have all these little tiny things sticking out over here. So these are just standard diodes, and that's what we're going to use to allow us to have it so that one button does one thing and the other button does another thing, which should be cool. But before then, an intermediate thing, we're going to use these little switches, and we're going to have fun. So I kind of can't show it, because I don't want to give away the answer. I'm giving away the answer, but we'll go through it. To do this, so here are two switches. So if you're like me, you grew up in a house that had a hall passage, and when you had turned one switch, the light would come on, and when you turned the other switch on the other side of the passage, the light would turn off. And if you just keep turning them backwards and forwards, it didn't matter which side, you get the light coming on. So it worked different from a normal light where one way was always on and one way was always off. Sometimes one way was up, was on, and sometimes one way was off. So we're going to go through, the next video is going to be about using switches to do that little trick, and how it works, how your house is wired up, which I always thought was a fascinating thing, and it's quite straightforward, so that should be fun. Alright, I will tidy up after I turned off the video. Alright, so like, share, subscribe, blah blah blah, you know the drill. Bye.